Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of this Q&A type thing that might be regular or might not. It was a rough idea I had for a video series channel thing update words. Yes, okay. As you may gather, this is all very much an experiment. It was a rough idea I had for a video series because I've done a few Q&A videos in the past and I really enjoyed them. You know, a chance to answer questions from you guys, a bit of interactivity, a bit of discussion, and at the same time you can shove in some nice random gameplay in the background, and everyone's happy. Or at least I hope so. I liked making them. I hope you liked watching them. It's mainly been San Andreas and, well, GTA 5, for, and I think I did Halo one time as well. So it'll give me a chance to put some more gameplay in the background, and give me a chance to, as I said, interact with you guys, and maybe you can reply to my answers and we can, I don't know. It's all, like I say, it's all very up in the air. Who knows how it will go. It might be really successful. We might bin it after one episode. We just try. We'll test it. So, yeah, like I said, I've done a few Q&As in the past and I've really enjoyed them, and I thought it might be quite good to do a regular, semi-regular series of them. So let's not waste much time. Let's not waste any time, in fact. Let's get straight onto it. Oh, actually, first things first. If I get up the questions. So concerning the questions, you guys did give me some lovely questions. Thank you very much. A couple of weeks ago, I asked for people to fill in a form, and they gave me some questions, which is great. So thank you. I will not be answering all of them, just because some of them I don't think are suitable for this video, and that's not like they were creepy or something. It was just because one of them was, what's my next Let's Play going to be? And as you should probably know by now, I'm a big, mysterious, annoying teaser, because I never really tell you a lot until it actually starts. So yeah, questions like that I'll probably ignore, but there are other questions which I just couldn't think of an answer to, which I might come back to. So if you did ask a question and I haven't answered it, don't worry. I might come back to it, or I might not, because I don't know, I couldn't think of a good answer. I might give you an example of that later on, and I'll get onto some more ways of asking me questions at the end of the episode as well. But yeah, like I said, no more rambling. Let's move on to question number uno, which was from Aussie88, and we're going to get this brand new video series off to a very positive start with the question: what is your least favourite game? Yay! Positivity, half cup full. Alright, well, that's actually a very good question. And it did make me think. And the sad thing is, I don't think I can think of it. Oh, these videos are going to be fun for words, aren't they? So, yeah, I moan a lot. You probably know if you've watched my videos, I do like to moan. Maybe it's a British thing, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's both. But I do like to have a good old ramble about stuff. And so you think that I would have a least favourite game, and I probably do, but I just cannot for the life of me remember one of them. One of the games I've said I hate. Somewhere on the podcast that I do with Honest Tom 23, we've probably talked about games and I've said that I hate that game, and it's probably been there somewhere, but I cannot remember. But then there are two different types of least favourite games as well. There's number one, least favourite as in that a shockingly bad game makes it my least favourite. You could say then that awful Sprint 2031, 2033, whatever the hell that name was, for the PS2 that I did for the April Fools last year. Oh god, that was awful. That could be my least favourite game, as in it was so bad. But then there's an other side of it where it's maybe a more polished, a better game, but you just still don't like it. You don't like the gameplay, you don't like the mechanics, whatever. Other people might... I've just thought of it! Oh my god, as I just said that. My least favourite game. Can it be a whole franchise? Can I make it into a whole series? Please. My least favourite games. Uncharted. Get out of here! Crappy games. Overrated. Boom, I said it. Awful, boring, dull. Same things. Climb a bit, like Prince of Persia, but worse. Firefight, with lame gunplay. More jumping. Lame. Oh, that's made me happy now. Thank you very much. I had to get that off my chest. Uncharted 1, 2. I haven't played the third one yet, but I don't want to, because the first two were so lame. Have I said lame yet? Lame. Lame. Oh, yes, of course it was. Of course it's Uncharted. And the reason why it's my least favourite game so much is because other people like them so much as well. And I just cannot comprehend that. Maybe it's because I played them too late. Maybe I should have played them when they first came out. They were really groundbreaking. But now they just suck. They're boring. I said it. Bring on the hate. But the other thing I had an answer for, because I couldn't think of the game before, so I did come up with this answer. I do have, as well, a least favourite gaming moment. Like an individual part of a game I really hated. Really frustrating. And that was, ironically, from probably my most favourite game of all time, GTA San Andreas. And if any of you have played that game, you'll know there was a character called Zero, who was in the San Fierro section. And you could do some missions with him. He was like a geeky tech guy. And one of his missions was to fly this little remote control plane. I think you had to deliver packages or drop bombs or something weird like that. But you had a fuel meter. And once your fuel ran out, game over, man. So that was the whole point of the mission. You had to fly the plane carefully and do it within the amount of fuel that you had. So my friend and I, we were trying to complete the whole game, the whole storyline. We got up to this mission and we spent probably a good 2-3 hours on it because we just could not for the life of us complete this mission. We kept on running out of fuel, the little plane would blow up. We were getting really frustrated. We were like, okay, well, if we cut this corner a bit more, we can shave off a few seconds and shave off a bit more fuel usage. Because the way it worked was, I think it was pressing X made you sort of thrust, like gave you power, and that would use up the fuel. So the whole point of the mission was you had to be smart about using up the fuel. Instead, the version of GTA San Andreas I had came with a bug. And that bug was, no matter if you pressed X or not, the fuel would get used up. So it literally meant the mission was impossible. You couldn't do it because the fuel meter was always going down, no matter what you did. Did we know this at the time? No. No, we didn't. Did we even know at the time it was an optional mission and you didn't have to do it? No, that would be too easy. So yeah, that was like disc throwing out of window inducing to the point. Nearly. So sad. We did eventually find out it was optional and just left it. But yeah, there was a bug in the game. They had to, when they re-released it, they fixed that. Not good. So there you go. Thank you for the question, Ozzy. I don't have everyone's names for the questions because not everyone left their name. I'll have to make sure to make you leave it next time because I need to credit these questions. So the next question is views on gaming piracy. Ooh, that is a deep old topic right there, isn't it? In fact, it's so deep I had to make some little notes about this one because, yeah, video game piracy. Piracy's bad. Piracy, you don't want to be a pirate. They die of scurvy. But, yeah, I thought of 3 sort of pathways to do with game piracy that I maybe agree with in some regards and other ways I don't. But here are the ones I thought of. Number 1. Video game piracy occurs because more and more often, it seems today, publishers and developers are releasing unfinished games. They just are. They're buggy, they're poorly optimized, they're just unfinished. You could look to Ubisoft is the main culprit, people are saying, literally Hitler, with games like Watch Dogs and the new Assassin's Creed Unity. It's, you need a massively beastie computer to play that game because it's so poorly optimized. And that's unfair. That is unfair to people who have to pay $40, $50, $60. Over here it's about £42, £50. That's a crazy amount of money for one game. And if it's not up to the quality that you're paying, then that's just not on. And really, there should be more demos for things like this. There should be a demo. There used to be demos. What happened to those magazines? They might still do them, I don't know. But when I used to get video game magazines a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, they used to come with a little DVD or a little disc that had a few of the first levels of some games on there, some new games. And you could play them and you could find out what it was like. They were great. I loved those. I don't think they could still do those because maybe they're too big to fit onto one disc. But demos, I think, bring on more demos just to see if people want the game or not. Now, would that stop them pirating it? I don't know. Actually, that moves on to my next point. A lot of people say video game piracy is due to, and they did this in the same way as music, right? Music piracy was because people couldn't get hold of the music easily enough. And ever since things like iTunes and Spotify, people can. And so that's helped minimize music piracy. Does that work the same way for games? Because people say, well, people only pirate games because it's really difficult to get through, to play them. They make you jump through hoops. You know, you could, again, Ubisoft, with their Uplay, it's really annoying. DRM, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I think we've got it pretty good for a lot of games. Okay, Uplay's pretty bad in that, you have to sign in loads of times, and it makes you, even through Steam, you have to sign in, and then it goes back to Uplay, and then it goes back to Steam, and it's really annoying. Yeah, okay. But I think for the people that pirate games, it's not because it's difficult to get hold of. I think they just don't want to pay stuff. They don't want to pay stuff. If they can get something for free on BitTorrent at their fingertips, why would they pay for it? Now, this is all down to the personality of the person. I reckon a lot of people would just rather not pay. Of course, they should pay. A lot of people do pay because it's the right thing to do. But I don't think it has much to do with the availability, the accessibility. I just think people who aren't going to pay are not going to pay, and people who will. Because I think, yeah, like I said, we have got it pretty good with things like Steam. Very simple to play games. Add money to your wallet, download it, done. Even though Steam is a type of DRM, it's done quite well. So, yeah, that's another point, is that people would say, oh, well, make it easier for us to play games. I don't know, it's pretty good. I think, we can download off of the PSN store, Xbox Live. I don't think there's any problem there with that. I just think people don't want to pay stuff a lot of the time. And the third point, which I can relate to mostly, and this is where video game piracy differs from, say, music piracy and also film piracy. Film and music are often very easily caught up to modern technology. Old films from the 30s are re-released on DVD, and we can put them in our DVD player. Done. Boom. Watching it. Music, they're transferred from vinyls, transferred from whatever. MP3. On your iPod. Done. Easy. Games, on the other hand, are a lot trickier, it seems, to transport over to newer technology. Yes, a lot of games are re-released. They're put in like a trilogy. That's great, but not enough. Because I like playing old games, especially old childhood games, and I like playing old games from the past. But because some of them are so old, the only way you'll be able to play them is by pirating it. For example, the recent series I just did about Virtual Springfield. Technically, I had to pirate that game because even if I went out and somehow found a brand new sealed copy of that game from 1997, if I had majestically found that, it wouldn't have played. I would have put it in my computer. It would not have played on Windows 7. I had to work around that with the zip file that I downloaded of that game to make it work. So I think with some options, with some games, you have no other option apart from pirating it. It's not going to be in any stores anymore. Especially old games like that. They're more like collector's items now. So yeah, and that kind of ties into emulators, I suppose, with really old games like that. I think emulating games is absolutely fine because, okay, what are you going to do? Go and get an old NES and then try and find a game like that? No, that's just... And plus, with that sort of thing, you're not really... Well, are you stealing? I suppose you are stealing. But you're doing it when a game is so old. It's like you're not harming their income by this point, are you? Because the game's like over for them. I don't know. It's tricky because it is still pirating. At the end of the day, they say that if you emulate things, you should at least have a copy of the game, and then it's fair. But to me, that is the most reasonable form of video game piracy. When a game is so old, there's no other way of accessing it apart from downloading it off of a torrent. And that's what I've done a few times, actually. I will hold my hands up and say I've done that for that PS1 week I did back in February or whenever. Most of those games I had to pirate, I guess, if you count that as emulating, because I didn't have them. I didn't have copies of Crash Bandicoot on PS1 and Harry Potter on PS1. Where the hell am I going to get them from? Well, eBay, I suppose, or this other shop. But yeah, there's an example. Probably the wrong thing to do. I could have got them, but they are quite old. So it's very hazy, and I'm probably not an expert on this type of stuff. If I can pay for it, I'll pay for it. But if I can't get hold of it, then I might have to download it. So yeah, I'd be very interested because I don't really play many new games, and new games being pirated is the bad thing. So do any of you lot pirate games? Are you even going to say that? Why do you pirate games? Especially brand new games. So yeah, very interesting topic, that one. Probably much more discussion in there if I knew what I was talking about. I don't know how much sense all that just made. I tried to make it make sense with points, but it probably didn't. I'm sorry. Oh. And so we'll probably move on to, what's the time? One last question let's do. And that's going to be... Ooh. Well, no, let's quickly squeeze in this one. Well, actually, no, let's just quickly go over these ones. If Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus were both drowning, what would be on your sandwich? Now, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Sandwiches. Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, drowning. Well, I quite like smoked ham, honey roast ham, cheese. Maybe not together though. Ham and cheese I don't think goes together too well. But really, when it comes to sandwiches, the best you're going to get, as I've mentioned in a live stream before, is a Tesco's chicken, bacon and stuffing. The triple whammy of just perfection. Oh, I want one now. That is what would be on my sandwich. Oh man. And lastly, this question is one that I can't really answer properly, but it was, can you do a gaming setup tour? Now, I kind of addressed this in the past, but my gaming setup is really not something to be, presented, because it is literally just a mess of wires right over there on that table. There's an Xbox, there's a PS3, there's a Wii over there, getting very dusty. PlayStation should be there, but it's not, but it should be. Yeah, and then there's the Elgato in the middle with all the wires everywhere. You could probably fall in that and get strangled by it. Be careful. So I probably won't do a gaming setup tour just because I don't have many games either. Why should my game collection is growing. Having done this YouTube stuff for a while now, it is growing. But I haven't got any of those really fancy setups where it's all nice and tidy and people have managed to hide the wires and it looks really slick. No. That's not mine, I'm afraid. That's not mine. I wouldn't even want to show you a picture because it's kind of messy. Right, remove the kinda. It's messy. So, yes. Okay then, well, there is another good question, but I think that's quite a big topic, and I really want to answer that next time because I want to have a good think about that. So that'll do it for this first episode of the Q&A thing. I need a good name for this series. If you think of one, tell me. And to anything I said in this episode, particularly about the video game piracy, but also, actually no, screw the piracy. I want to know what is your least favourite game. Let's spin it over now to you lot, because I'd be interested to know what is your least favourite game. Mine, probably quite controversial there with Uncharted. What about yours? and the piracy stuff as well. Do you pirate games? Yada 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 yada. Very quickly though, to round off, if you want to ask another question for a future episode, you can put it in the comments, and I will also leave a Google form link in the description. So you can either put a question in the comments, or you can put one in the form. So it's up to you. I'll just add the questions to a list, and we'll go through them eventually. So also give me some feedback. Would you prefer this to be longer? I kept it reasonably short because I'm not too sure how good this will be. But yeah, prefer them longer, or is this about the right length? Blah blah blah. I'm just throwing information at you now. But the main one is I really want to know your answers to these questions about the games, your least favourite game, and the piracy. So yes, with that, I will leave it here for this first episode of a Q&A thing. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.